Hello and welcome to week 7 of Business Economics and your first week of Macroeconomics. The purpose of this unit is to provide a general introduction to the main concepts of macroeconomics. We commence by discussing key macroeconomic issues such as economic growth, inflation, unemployment and business cycles. An analysis of the recent global financial crisis will also be discussed. We conclude with a review of the main differences in economic thought that have shaped economic policy over the past 5 decades. Macroeconomics studies the behaviour of the economy as a whole. It is primarily concerned with two topics: long-run economic growth and short-run fluctuations in output and employment. These short-term fluctuations are often referred to as business cycles. Over the next 5 weeks, you'll review how long-run economic growth is primarily determined by long-run supply-side factors in the economy, such as technical progress, capital accumulation, and the size and quality of the labour force. Short-run economic fluctuations are primarily concerned with changes to aggregate demand and the impact that this has on the business cycle. Changes to aggregate demand have a direct influence on unemployment, balance of payments, interest rates, and inflation. After briefly reviewing the 5 key schools of economic thought, we will also review in more detail 2 main schools, being classical and Keynesian. Although there are many other schools of thought, they are all somehow related to the classical and Keynesian camps. Classical economic thought is associated with the idea that free markets can regulate themselves. There are 3 main assumptions in classical economics: prices are flexible, supply creates its own demand, and savings will equal investment. The first assumption is that the prices of all factors of production, labour, capital, land and the technology, are flexible. They can easily adjust to ensure that the economy remains in a long-run equilibrium. This is a natural self-correcting mechanism inherent in the economy. If there are any short-term unemployment in the economy, the prices of labour will fall to the point where it is attractive to hire an additional unit of labour. This will result in full employment being achieved in the long run, albeit at a lower average price wage level. Therefore, according to the classical economists, there will never be an excess supply of labour or long-term unemployment. As with classical economists, Keynesian economists is based on a number of assumptions. These are inflexible or rigid prices, effective demand, and saving and investment determinants. Contrary to the classical notion that prices are flexible, Keynesian economists believe that prices are often rigid or sticky. They are particularly rigid and sticky downwards. While owners of factors of production are willing to increase prices, they are less willing to decrease prices. For instance, owners of scarce resources will be reluctant to sell their resource at a low price and are more likely to leave the resource in the ground. In addition, price of labour is not completely flexible. The emergence of unions has prevented wage falling significantly. Union leaders prefer to strike and not work rather than sell their labour at a price that is too low.